Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
First in the building, Carlos Rosado on deck. We back at it, WCS Salute, 8 days away from the undisputed. Yes, 8 days, Ocho, however you want to say it, man. We are in the building in the AM. It's Friday. You already know it's the weekend. You know what I'm saying? We just got a little bit more hours today. My people, I know how you like getting off early on Friday. Just chill. Be patient. I know some of you came in early for the first time. You know what I'm saying? For the first time in the week, you came in early, get this shit out the way so you can leave early. I get it. I'm not hating. I get it, man. I get it. Be patient. Don't lose your job because you got to be ready to have some finances for the fish fry. The fish fry is on the horizon now. You can't be trying to go up there with your EBT and goddamn that you stole from your coworker. Because you're not going to get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the numbers that you thought. So you're up here robbing people EBT and subsidized funds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just bet some money on this fight and you'll get back in the black. You get back in the black, man. For real. Stick 'em boys, fishing and sports. Morning chat, fam. Salute WCS. Early class session. Let's get it. Yes, man. It's just have to explain some educational, facts because there are casuals that roam deeply. There are mongerers that hang out in the hallway instead of being in the classroom. So I have to I've talked to the principal to bring their ass back in there for a little bit, so we can discuss some things because they're out here spreading lies and propaganda. Tyrese on deck. What's good? Salute to your brother. In the building. The XO factory is in the building. OGW says, what's good, big bro? I'm on deck for the hot grease in the AM. Yes, you know how we do. You know how we do, man. I had a late night session yesterday. Up a little bit late than I wanted to be. But sometimes it's like that. You know what I'm saying? When you're retired, sometimes you like that. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Ever says, are you doing a live doing in-away fight? Just curious because I know it'll be early. I'm not sure. I might. It's been a while since I did a real live fight party. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be all acting up and everything. I'm like, damn, But definitely going for Cool Boy Steph. Definitely. I want to see Cool Boy Steph prove that he's that guy. And you just can't move up a division because, you've completed undisputed. I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. In a way, did what he's supposed to do. Go right for the hardware. I'm not mad at him. Get your medal. Do what you got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think Cool Boy Steph, you know what I'm saying? He should have enough. I've seen him box on the inside, outside. He's shown he got that dog in him. I mean, he's that guy, man. Switch your sports. Salute. What's good in the building? The soldier, man. What's good with the GOAT in the building? Big Blunts and boxing on deck. What's good with it, Blunts? Knockdown 305 at WCS in the chat. Yo, what's good, man? I'm asking you the same thing. What's good? What is good this morning? It's Friday. Man, Fridays is one of the best days of the week, man. For some people, those of you that that's able to get off work and head to the spot, chill for a little bit. I don't know. Some of y'all got to leave straight after work and get right home because you don't have permission to be out. I've never experienced that in my life, but I know it exists. I'm just putting it out there. So I'm not here to offend none of y'all. If you got to leave work and go straight home, stop signs that you on the clock, I wish you nothing but safe driving. Get your ass home so you won't get that whooping. She won't put them hands on you, okay? You know what I'm saying? Hurry up and get there so she won't put them hands on you now. These Spence fans are capping hard about Errol's media workout. Well, what do we expect? They capping seriously hard, man. Seriously. I'm definitely going to be up for that fight. I thought that was premiere this morning, or was it a live? No. It was something different. I'm going to touch a little bit more in depth. It was in the AM, so I didn't really want to, just put the whole cake out there. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to put a slice out there. You gotta, properly distribute content so you won't run out of it. It's almost impossible to run out of it if you really know how to apply it. You know what I'm saying? I that's what I try to do. I just try to spread out content, not lay it on too thick, especially during the hours. They have certain hours where you get the most views and all that, and more people tuned in. I mean, hey, you'll be amazed how many people that'll rock out with you in the AM now. I'm on East Coast time, so I can't do that stuff every night. I can't do it like I used to, man. You know what I'm saying? I thought there was a premiere. Tony Boswell, what's good with it, Tony? Barbecue quail on deck, man. Somehow, some way, man, that never left my thought process. It seems like it would be delicious with some fresh, goddamn corn on the cob. You know what I'm saying? Some greens, some of that country cooking. You know what I'm saying? Mashed potatoes, home baked rolls, man. Much respect at WCS in the chat. Stop there in the show support and hit the like button. Salute my brother working and listening. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you. Big salute. Tony Boswell on deck. It's check day for most. Yeah, man. Get that check. Enjoy the bag. WJ Lucky on deck. I see you in the building. What's good? He said I got Fulton. Think he can keep Inouye mid-range and counterpunch him. His footwork and movement would cause Inouye to overcommit. Man, I see Cool Boy Steph just being the overall boxer. I know that Inouye has this so-called power. Yeah, once again, it's all about the opponents that you're in there with. Let's be honest. I can break down Inouye's freaking resume and people ain't gonna like it. And Nonito Donaire is gonna be included in that breakdown. And she ain't gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just talking about the bantamweight. Come on, man. Paul Butler, come on now. Come on, man. Come on, dog. Stop it. Man, no. Inouye goes over and take the title from Nordine Bali. And then, it ain't like Nordine Bali was over there fighting killers, but he did hold on to the chip after he beat Rashid Warren for the vacant. So, Nonito Donaire comes back after having a pretty decent going the distance type of shit, and then go over there and get stopped with the title. You know what I'm saying? After they blessed him to go leave that fight with Inouye, go over there to Nordine Bali, get that title, and come back and fight Inouye. It's just almost like they was down trick or treating, man. They had Nonito as a trick or treater. They sent him from one house to the next, pick up the can, and then came back and gave it to Inouye. That's pretty much how I saw it. Man, I'm about to finish my work day and saw my guy WCS on, so I had to come through, getting ready for my vacay. I'm gone, fam. All right, for sure, man. Be safe out there. Real talk. I don't know where you headed to or whatever, but if you anywhere outside where you have them, I don't know where you in the Bahamas, you know, anywhere where you might see some exotic, okay, some exotic. Just make one. You put one in the suitcase, man. We can meet, so I can introduce myself to it and everything. Round in the 30s, 40s, something like that. So I can go ahead and link up once again. What I'm saying? Show them what the retirement life is. And bring some margaritas back. Make sure she don't have no kids that's too young. I don't want her, phone blowing up. I got to work until the 26th. Then I'm flying out. Have to work this Saturday and Sunday to clean up, move my equipment. No doubt, man. No doubt about that. It should be lit out there. It's this week. East Money, what's good? Salute to you, brother, in the building. Samar Warren, I see you. What's good? In the building. Peace and blessings below. Salute WCS. Certified, stamp the like button. Support the grind. No doubt about it. Let's get down to it. I want to kind of break the stigma that's going around from false prophets. You know what I'm saying? Pseudology. You know what I'm saying? False prophets are individuals who spread or put out information that they know that, one, it may have some type of lie to it. You know what I'm saying? So you're misleading whoever's the listener. It can be anybody. But in this court right here, the YTC court, it seems to be rampant. It seems to be extremely easy when the listeners are, people who you consider to be boxing fans, so to speak. I can't call every one of them boxing fanatics, but boxing fans. There's been an ugly stamp placed on the separation, and I call it the separation of stupidity, because once again, I'm assuming these individuals won't be as, naive, but yet they sit up there and listen to certain people speak the same stuff. And also they might have another extreme bias as not liking a certain fighter for which they're putting all this judgment upon. You know what I'm saying? All this judgment is unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? All this finger pointing criticism is unhealthy. So we all know that there is a problem with certain people understanding that the knockout and a technical knockout is the same. All right. I'm going to explain to you why it's the same. And I'm curious to know why people cannot put it together if they call themselves boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? If you have on boxing gloves and they have different names on them, you know what I'm saying? Those boxing gloves are different colors. It's still a boxing glove at the end of the day. It's still a boxing glove. You know what I'm saying? If you have a glove with a different name on it, it's still a boxing glove. If you see somebody walk in the ring with a different design into their trunks, it's still trunks. No matter the design, it's still trunks. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different type of trunk. But we've had a dilemma with some of these people where they have been claiming that Terrence Crawford 10 straight knockouts. Even you heard Derrick James put this out there. So when you hear people who these naysayers look up to, the ones that they bow to, and they don't think about cracking open a keyboard and putting some inquiries in there and really sitting down and doing their research. So people talk about how Terrence Crawford has these 10 straight knockouts, right? And they'll look at it like, well, it's not really knockouts if it's a TKO. It has to be a KO, right? And I explained to them last night, as light as I possibly can. I really didn't go in extreme detail, But let's go back and just hit the replay button on what I actually put out here. I said a technical knockout is sometimes abbreviated to TKO. Is when a referee believes that a fighter can't remain in the fight safely and the fight is brought to a close. All right. Technical knockout, part 2, a caveat to the first that I just read to you, that may occur if a fighter is unsteady on his feet. Listen, pay attention to those words, unsteady on his feet after a traditional knockdown to the canvas. They didn't say a stoppage. They said a traditional knockdown where a fighter touches the canvas outside of the soles of his or her feet. A traditional knockdown where a fighter is on the canvas, where a part of their body outside of the soles of their feet touches the canvas. Or if the fighter is unable to properly defend himself or her, that bleeds over into a knockout also, right? So therefore, when you're talking about consciousness, semi-consciousness, a fighter not being able to properly defend himself or herself, it all bleeds into the same thing. They marry up real good. Okay. Next, against their opponent, rather than allowing a fighter to proceed to what may be an inevitable physical knockout, the referee will stop the fight in order to prevent any further physical trauma. Now, I want to get to the KO versus the TKO, because when it comes to Crawford, they saying his knockouts in a row are trash because first they want to lead you into the conundrum that, oh, he didn't do anything worth talking about. And I gave scenarios last night of Rolly Romero being knocked out by Tank. Are you going to say he didn't knock him out? Because every time I hear somebody speak of Tank and how that fight ended with Rolly Romero, they say he knocked him out. But that was a TKO because he couldn't continue. It was the same thing as Terrence Crawford getting a TKO. It's nothing different. You're just taking a power hitter like Gervonta Davis, and you're taking Terrence Crawford, who also has power, but they don't look at it in the same light as Gervonta because of the highlights. A technical knockout. Let's talking about here. Let's see. Can you figure it out? All right. Which one of these are considered KOs, people? Which one of these are considered KOs? Is it this right here? Jaden Codgerton, who's fighting Danny Green? Is this considered a KO? He's laying on the canvas on his back. That was a very emotional moment for him. But I'm not here to, put a fighter out, but look at him. See, this picture right here is where a lot of naive temporary casuals, they have it thumbtacked in their brain that this is the only way that a knockout exists when a fighter is unconscious. No, if the sport was like that and we had that many killers, then the titles would be changing hand all the time. Is this a KO? Is that a KO? That's Terrence Crawford, Julius Ndongo. He stopped him in the third round. Is that a KO? 1, 2. Is that a KO? Is this a KO? You have 3 different frames that I presented to you to ask, is these considered a KO? KO seems to be the interest. You know what I'm saying? The bona fide interest. The one that they give you all the value for. They give their stamp of approval. Oh man, you are a killer if you can get a KO. Not with that T stuff on there. We don't want that T stuff. Is any one of these, when you look at them, do they come off to you as KOs? Boom. 1, 2, 3. Let me know in the chat. Do you consider them to be KOs? Shout out Don Vaughn. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute to you. Shout out to Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, AK Showtime. What's good with it? Salute to you, Team Tuck in the building. I see you. Joseph Bailey on deck. Good morning. So let me move on. So when you look at these frames, all of these are considered KOs. The reason why I'm showing you these frames because each one of them shows a fighter in a different state while in the ring at that moment. You know what I'm saying? A different state that is often overlooked or just flat out not enough research. You know what I'm saying? Not enough common knowledge to understand what a KO consists of. Errol Spence getting a KO over Kell Brook was simply this. A fighter, once again, can be semi-conscious, still be moving around and get KO'd. A fighter can be unconscious and still moving around, but they don't know where they're at. They consider unconscious. They just there. You know what I'm saying? They still breathing, but they're unconscious. They can be considered a KO. You know what I'm saying? A fighter can actually be aware of the referee counting them, giving them the count, and still be considered a knockout, loss to them. You know why? Because if a fighter doesn't make the count, it's considered a knockout. It's not considered a technical knockout. It's considered a knockout. All of these frames right here were knockouts. Kell Brook is on one knee, and he couldn't make the count. Julius Ndongo was on his back, still conscious. Still conscious. We have different states. We have different frames where fighters are showing you their state of consciousness due to them receiving that type of trauma from a punch. Kell Brook is obviously there pawing at his eye, and he was ruled out as a knockout. But when you hear people talk about this knockout, they act like he flatlined the man. They act like this was Kell Brook. It's amazing how they think Errol Spence goes around and put guys on their back like this, and they're not even moving. But when it comes to Crawford having this type of result or other results where his opponents can be on one knee and the referee ruled them unable to continue, he counts them out. What I mean by counts them out, it's a figure of speech that we say, oh man, they're gonna count me out. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no faith in me. They're gonna count me out. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no count. That's pretty much what a referee looks at sometimes. Like when a fighter rises up and it's been hurt, and the referee is right there standing in front of the referee, they made the count, and the referee is there looking, and they pretty much make an assessment. They say, okay, what's my assessment? Can they continue or not? Can they continue or not? They may tell them to walk to their right, or walk to their left and come back to him. He grabbed their gloves, boom, boom, look in their eyes to see if they can continue. At that point, if he see that fighter has just a little bit left and is able to continue, the referee will let him. Okay? If that fighter goes on to take more punishment, the referee stopped the fight, it's a technical knockout. Now, if that same fighter place him back in a scenario where that fighter is on the knee and the referee is right there giving them the count and they don't make it up to their feet, it's a knockout. Okay? The referee can count a fighter out when him and the fighter are both standing and he's looking at the fighter after the fighter's beat the count. He's trying to gauge, he's trying to assess, is this fighter good to go? Are you healthy enough to go? Are you coherent enough to go? Am I going to make the right decision? And then he waits the fight off. He counted them out in his mind to say he can no longer go in there and fight in a healthy state to be able to defend himself and offend himself. You know what I'm saying? Offensive defense. He's not going to be able to do it, so the ref count him out. Done. It's over. Just like we've seen Tony Weeks do. Tony Weeks just made a command decision to get, hey, let's just stop the fight. Lawrence Cole, you know, he's been on records doing some shit like that. But when it comes down to knockout, more people look at Codgerton as what a KO is supposed to look like, and that's not true. You're not reading the pages. You're not flipping the pages. You're not going line for line. You're not doing research on different audio visuals on what a knockout can consist of. Okay, let's go through the instructional period of what a TKO consists of. Technical is considered an adjective. All right, technical is considered an adjective. With that adjective, it modifies or describes a noun. You want to know what a noun is? Knockout is a noun. Knockout is a noun. So you have knockout, KO, however you want to put it. Knockout is considered a noun. A technical knockout, it describes what a noun is. And of course, there's layers that you put to that on why it's considered a technical knockout due to the fighter, you know what I'm saying, making the count standing up, the fighter being hurt on their feet and in a position where they're pretty much out on their feet. They don't have to be on the canvas. And they seem like they're in an extremely vulnerable position. Technical is just a language that they use in boxing. And it's basically based off the manner for which the fight is stopped. And that person that pretty much influences the technical side of it is the referee. The referee can pretty much deem that. So technical describes the noun. Technical describes the noun. Technical describes the noun of knockout. Technical knockout. You take away the technical, it's still a knockout. A TKO attached to the noun, an adjective and a noun together is a knockout, a technical knockout. It's just all applicable on how it plays out. How did this conclude? How did the stoppage conclude? What type of knockout was it? A knockout where he didn't beat the count, or a technical knockout where he potentially stood up and beat the count, still dazed and confused and semi-conscious, and the referee said, no, you too hurt. You too hurt. He's just going off instinct. Oh, it's too hurt. I can't let you go back out there. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. You're done. Technical knockout. Boom. TKO. There's no way in hell you should sit here and act like that every fighter, the only way you give them respect when it comes to their KO percentage is via knockout. That doesn't prove anything, because a fighter that is on one knee can be in better condition and get counted out as a knockout than a fighter that get counted out for a technical knockout. A fighter that gets counted out a technical knockout can actually go off instinct and stand up and be off balance. And the referee say, come over here, and they're off balance, but they're on their feet. And then they wave the flight. The referee waves the fight off. The fighter was able to beat the count, but the referee deemed it, hey, I don't think you're able to proceed forward. And or the referee allowed that fighter to fight just briefly, and the fighter takes more damage, and the referee stops the fight. But that fighter who just received a technical knockout loss can be in worse condition than a fighter who's receiving a KO loss. Because it can be a variable of things. It can be a body shot. Ryan Garcia, what was his loss to Gervonta Davis? What was Ryan Garcia's loss to Gervonta Davis? He took a shot to the body, right? Was he flatline? I'm serious. Was he flatline? But they call that a knockout. Was he flatlined? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Was Ryan Garcia looking like this? No, he wasn't. Ryan Garcia was on the knee, just like Kell Brook. Kell Brook eye was hurting. Ryan Garcia body was hurting. Both of these guys were still pretty conscious. You know what I'm saying? Conscious didn't have anything to do with it. It was more so a physical problem, a pain, or whatever from a shot. But in no way, shape, or form do I consider it to be any more intelligent when people get up here and say, well, Crawford haven't did anything at welterweight division. All those dang 100% Kell, man, who was it? So this is how they change the needle. They'll take the needle off one record and then they'll put another record on because you pretty much figured out where they're trying to go with it. You just debunk what they was talking about, right? So they get on here and they'll say, well, if you're talking about that, let's talk about the quality of opponent. No, you can't talk about the quality of opponent. We're talking about adjective, verbs. Huh? Were you paying attention? Because you got to say something incorrect for them to perk up. If I go over here and say everything right all the time, you know, they're gonna be like, oh man, oh well, yeah, you just said it was an adjective and a noun. You got to keep these aerosexuals, you got to feed them breadcrumbs. Adjective, verb. You said earlier it was a noun. It's a noun, goddamn it. You know, every now and then I do like to be kind of playful with this shit just to perk somebody up and run back to the damn panel and say, he was over there talking. I'm trying to get y'all to understand that when I hear you all talk and say a TKO isn't anything, you need to get into the ring and allow yourself to, for one, be in a position to be hurt. It can be a body shot. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to get damn punched in the face where you got to go looking for your mouthpiece and you thought your teeth had came out. You know what I'm saying? You are looking at a TKO, downgrading it, treating it like it ain't shit. When those fighters who have been on the receiving end of that TKO, they will tell you a body shot would disable you. You know what I'm saying? It would debilitate you. But you're still conscious. You just hurting. Somebody land a good shot to the body. It's hurting. But the way these cats look at it, you got to be laid out. You know what I'm saying? Crawford can do this to Julius Ndongo when he was undefeated, holding 2 titles, y'all. 2 titles on this fight. This man was holding 2 titles, man. And all I hear is people downplaying Bud's entire resume when it comes to him defeating undefeated fighters. Not to mention them being champions. You know what I'm saying? I heard them fools talking about Victor Poster one shit. And Ndongo one shit. Look. Crawford doesn't get credit for fighters being different after he beat them. But they want to sit up here and try to use the exact same narrative with Spence because they want to link that up to only 2 opponents that Errol Spence fought that Crawford ended up fighting. And I'm saying to myself, like, who does that? Like, who does that? You saying to prove your point that when Kell Brook fought Terrence Bud Crawford, he was damaged because of Errol Spence. That's what you was trying to say. Forget what Gennady did to him. You say he did what? He received a TKO. But he was on his feet, though. But y'all say his corner stopped it. But who stopped Kell Brook? Who stopped the fight with Kell Brook in there with Errol Spence? Kell Brook was on one knee. He didn't make the count. So it's the same conclusion. Was he taking damage when it was stopped? Was he unconscious when it was stopped? No, he was pawing at his eye. He couldn't go any further. He wasn't laid out. He wasn't unconscious. But you all say he wasn't the same since he left Errol Spence. And when he left Errol Spence, he only had 3 fights. So listen, you take a fighter who's coming off a short window to step in there for a mandatory, but then you take that same fighter who has ample amount of time to recover and so-called fight bums at 154 division and come back down and fight Crawford. And they say he's a shell of himself. Then he goes to fight Amir Khan. And they say, who is Amir Khan? Because he was already, that's not the point. That's besides the motherfucking point. You can't start talking about the moment. Okay, let's talk about the adjective and the noun first. All right. And then we're going to talk about the actual moment it happened. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about the actual moment that it happened. All right. How did it happen? Who did it? And then we got to look at the fighter that was on the receiving end of that technical knockout, a knockout. And then we got to go in his resume and see what he did up to that point. We got to look at his record to see if he's validated to be a soft opponent, a bum, or a tough opponent. So once they gauge that and kind of put all that information together, you know, say they call themselves troubleshooting and collecting data, right? They put all that together. Then they'll sit up here and look at the fighter, the age of the fighter who did it, and the age of the fighter who got it. I'm looking at the one who did it and the one who got it. It's been debunked so many times. I did a live stream on the age of these fighters when they fought Errol Spence and when they fought Terrence Crawford. Also, I gave an age on Terrence Crawford being 36 this year in September and Errol Spence already being 33 years old. But check this out. But it brings me to this. They say Pacquiao was too old. I was just in a barbershop where they said Pacquiao was too old when Floyd fought him. But how can he be too old when Floyd was older than him? So if we're not qualified as human beings to assess the internal damage, the tread, so to speak, of these boxers and the amount of time they put in since amateurs, then we're just talking. You're just talking in the wind. You're just blowing bullshit up in the face of those who want to pretty much inhale your secondhand smoke, because that's what it is. It's just smoke. It's just smoke. That's it. You're not even being logical. You're not even intellectually processing this and saying, you know what? Let me be a logical thinker about this. Let me do my homework. Let me break this down just a little bit more. Y'all over there saying that Terrence Crawford knockout percentage at the welterweight division don't matter because none of them are fighters that you care about. None of them. They say Jose Benavidez, it's the leg. Jeff Horn, even though he had Pacquiao, they try to say who was Jeff Horn, when Jeff Horn would beat all y'all asses over there. All these panels that's over there talking shit, Jeff Horn will whoop y'all ass. But when you see Jeff Horn in person, you'll be the same ones trying to get a picture with him. Oh, that's the one who fought Crawford, man. Yeah, that's him. That's him, dog. He's the one who fought Crawford. Okay. They'll be over there trying to get Jeff Horn picture. This man fought Manny Pacquiao. He became a world champion, a legitimate world champion, bro. 18-0 when Crawford fought him. And they say, oh, Jeff Horn. They kind of treat him like he a white boy. You know, you had these dumbass motherfuckers. They'll sit up here and try to say, oh, he ain't shit. You know, he was a white fighter. The same thing they try to give Igis Kavalaskis, but see, Igis, they believe that he hurt Crawford, right? So they give him a little bit of credit because, oh man, we can use Kavalaskis as a point of reference, just like Gamboa. We'll treat them because they hurt Crawford. They had great moments that we can continue to talk about. But technical is an adjective. KO is a noun. Technical is not a term they use. And by technical, you don't see that on their box rec. And by technical, they said technical combined with knockout is only describing the noun. It's only being descriptive of the noun. That's it. And I appreciate that fella who dropped that off, you know, over there in my comments. I cannot take full credit for that. I like the process of understanding someone else's direction on how they explain things. So, I'm not going to take credit as to far as the breakdown and shit like that. I go over here and read comments too, man. You know? So, I'm saying to myself, how can you separate them just based off one fighter? Like all these fighters are going around stopping people. We see the situation playing out with Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. All of a sudden, these people want to try to talk about, 24/7 about Devin Haney and contracts and all that debacle and saga back and forth bullshit about contracts. Once again, they're trying to take you down a piss yellow brick road. Now, I'm talking about a pissy yellow brick road, and y'all ain't going to see Oz either. They trying to take you down that pissy yellow brick road. They try to talk about who's sending contracts, who this, that, and the other, right? But they're being talked about. That's good. Their name is out here. They're getting exposure. But the one thing about it, neither one of those fighters are knockout artists either. But you have these same people who will support Errol that'll select one of these fighters who they want to support. So Devin is not a power puncher at all. But they'll sit up there and hype Devin Haney up because he did earn the undisputed. He is legitimate official. He did earn the titles, but he's not a power puncher. But when it comes to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, the only thing they talk about and what separates one fighter from beating the other is they want to sit up there and pretend that this is a Marvel comic remake. They want to put Errol Spence up here with these gloves on his hand. You know what I'm saying? Like he Thanos or something. Like, oh my God, look at this. Like he has the vibranium on both hands. Like, they was in there doing that experiment and trying to link up all the chromosome and all this other shit, trying to see who's the next one. Just like the Matrix, when they was trying to find out Neo, they act like they just found out that they found some shit out like that. Oh, he's the one. He's the one. We put him in the Matrix. He's the one. Who deemed that the case of him being the one based off these false scenarios that y'all putting out here to big him up? These people up here talking about he's breaking bones and sending dudes to the hospital. That is the biggest lie. I want to say, are you retarded? Are you retarded? If you're going to look at somebody with 100% KO ratio in the division and a guy who's been in the division that doesn't have 100% KO ratio, he's been in the division longer than Crawford. And you can only go back to the seven fights that he had when he picked up his first title to try to give it a proper balance. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a fat kid on the seesaw type of bias that we're hearing out here, right? And we look at that and we saying to ourselves, like, dude, where are you getting this information from? How can you try to wipe away everything Crawford has did every time the debate comes up with a TKO? It's still a knockout. We have people who consider themselves to be hardcore fanatics explaining, oh, it ain't this, it ain't that. It's a knockout. Even a fighter that is so-called deemed knocked out, right? That fighter is conscious enough. Maybe there's an injury. If a fighter hurt their knee and they're unable to make the count, they take a knee, right? They're unable to make the count. It's considered a knockout to the winner, even though that fighter is extremely conscious. So that matters more to you, that you see the KO. Like it's almost like you don't quite get it, man. You don't quite get it. It's almost like you got to give them builder blocks. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them Tonka blocks or something. Look, old school learning blocks, flashcards. If they see the T, it somehow devalues the actual circumstance. And that's just crazy, bro. They're both knockouts. A fighter with a TKO that's deemed a TKO because the referee stopped it can be in worse condition than a fighter who was deemed a knockout. It can be from a body shot. Ryan Garcia wasn't swolled up or anything like that. He was fully conscious. He just couldn't get up. Boom. He didn't beat the count. He stood up and went back to his corner. But on Tank's record, it says KO. He didn't beat the count. So how y'all gonna sit up here and continue to talk and not correct these people on the stupidity that they continue to put out here? The straight up stupidity, bro. That shit is just straight up stupidity. I don't know how you know how many times you have to hear it. People say the dumb shit. He out here hurting people. Who is he hurting? Did you see how slow he looked in the freaking media day? And y'all get on here talking about, oh man, he looks sharp. And look, what are we going back to the George Foreman slug days? You know, him and George Foreman don't even fight a lot, right? George Foreman didn't have no defense, but George Foreman was a big dude. Errol Spence is not George Foreman, but like I said before, how many times you going to try to catch a shot? How many times you going to try to block a shot without slipping underneath it? If you get hit with a shot that you didn't slip, you still feel the shot. Ask anybody in mixed martial arts. When you get kicked, when you block a kick and that kick hits you on the arm of the glove, you still feel it. And they're fucking around with 4-ounce gloves. So when you're talking about a boxer hitting another boxer with a punch, they still feel it. So instead of you avoiding the entire situation, boom, slip underneath it, reset, boom, whatever your counter shot is, however you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You want to slip underneath, take no punishment because your coach said he'd rather get knocked out than take punishment. So why did he have you up here blocking shots? Can y'all answer that to me? Can y'all answer that for me? Real talk. Why is he has his fighter up here blocking shots if that's taking damage? Am I right or wrong? When you block a punch, isn't it still damage? Don't you still feel it? Have a fighter not been hit, blocking a shot, and it still dazed them? Yes. If that fighter gets hurt and takes a knee and the referee gives them the count and they're unable to make the count and they're fully conscious, but they're too hurt, you know what I'm saying? They're not even unconscious. They just hurt. Whether it was to the body, to the head, whatever, it will go down as a knockout. If that fighter makes it back to his feet and they're on wobbly legs, we don't know what their conscious level at, but it's not there enough to the point where mechanically they seem like they can function and fight on in a safe manner. The referee says, no, I'm stopping the fight. It is deemed a TKO. Technical being the adjective, knockout being the noun. Okay? We can't sit up here and think that just because it's your favorite fighter, we want to say he's breaking fighters' bones and shit. Man, shut the fuck up. You sound stupid. You sound stupid. I'm not saying bones haven't been broken from punches. You know, if you're able to soften up a spot and you have that much power to go to the body over and over again, ribs can be broken. No, yes, indeed. But this guy you're talking about isn't doing that. Y'all acting like this guy himself don't have eye issues. You act like Errol Spence don't have eye issues, but you're worried about him just going in here like a Tonka truck. Every time you roll that shit into something, oh, it's a Tonka truck. It can take it. Do it again. Boom, 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 boom. You just be running that Tonka truck down the hill into the sidewalk. Is it good? Yeah, it's a Tonka truck. This nigga ain't a Tonka truck, man. This dude ain't a Tonka truck. So I don't know what. Are y'all still stuck in are y'all under some type of spell? Do y'all go to the same place to eat lunch and they put a little extra in there or what? I'm not understanding why your literacy is making it difficult for you to know that Yordenis Ugas, a man with several losses, I cannot understand why you're giving Errol Spence so much credit as to what he did to this guy's eye. Like Yordenis Ugas was the world beater of all world beaters. And he was the Manny Pacquiao at the time of the division with no losses now. You act like this man was no losses, undefeated. It was an absolute upset in boxing history that he went in there and broke this guy the way he did, broke him down. And not only that, I made it perfectly clear that Yordenis Ugas was just like Demont Peterson. He was ready to fight on. He was ready to fight on. And both of these fighters did not quit. They was ready to fight on, and somebody else decided it was enough. But yet we have people gloating. Oh man, he's not. He didn't knock out the two Garcias. He didn't, man, come on. He didn't knock out freaking Sean Porter. Where are y'all getting this shit from? And then look, the hating ass, shit that I see. They're talking about all this damn knocking out that Errol Spencer's doing, but then turn around when it comes to David Avanesian, who was laying on the canvas. They don't compare David Avanesian to Carlos Ocampo. They such in their hater mode that they won't compare David Avanesian to Carlos Ocampo. They consider David Avanesian to be nobody. When in factual reality, he was better than Carlos Ocampo. They went and moved Carlos Ocampo up at the last, deemed him as this bottom of the barrel fighter to come up there and be a mandatory. Man, nobody knew who this dude was. No one knew. Him and David Avanesian was somewhat like in the same slot. If you want to talk about the perception from the fans, no one was looking for David Avanesian. No one was looking for Carlos Ocampo. You know what I'm saying? David Avanesian actually went longer distance than Carlos Ocampo. You know what I'm saying? But they won't never bring up Ocampo unless they talk about his undefeated record. And just goes to show you know how I said how they speak about fighters not being the same after they was beat by Errol Spence. This man went over to Mexico and fought 12 times. He was in there less than one round. And this man left and went and had 11 to 12 fights in Mexico, man. And then he came back and he was doing pretty decent until his latest destruction. He went the distance with Sebastian Fundora, but yet they say after Errol Spence fight him, they're done. Oh my God. Y'all are some of the biggest liars in this YTC community. You just refuse to identify. Like, these are people, I'm telling you, that's trying to raise their kid not to be liars. But they get on here and make sure their kid is occupied on their phone and stuff. And they get on here and lie. They just get on here and lie, dog. They just get on here and say shit that they know is wrong, but it feels good to them to put false information out there. But it's content, though. It's content. That's all. It's content, bro. It don't matter what's good. I see you. Shout out to Justin Booker in the building. $10 super chat on deck. Much appreciated, brother. And good afternoon to you. One love. Take them to school. I just needed to basically emphasize some points. You know what I'm saying? Technical being an adjective, KO being a noun. How difficult is it to put the adjective with the noun? The adjective describes the noun. It doesn't separate at all. It's in the boxing literature. You know what I'm saying? It's in the language. TKO, KO. It's just all about how it plays out. What is the method to the stoppage? How did the stoppage happen? Who did it? The referee can be involved in both. The referee can be involved in a technical knockout and a knockout. That's facts. Kell Brook looked like his eyes was open to me. Shout out to Booker for the $10 super chat. Much appreciated, brother. Those are definitely knockouts, whether it's TKO or KO. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. And shout out, big salute to the ones who support the channel and donate. It's truly appreciated, man. It don't matter on deck. Yes, sir. Salute to you. Shout out to Jamal Neezy, educate these aerosexuals. Hey man, they have to be, man, because they up here just sounding dumb, man. You sounding dumb. You don't want to give Crawford TKO validation, but you want to give Spence hype creation. You know what I'm saying? Crawford doesn't get TKO validation, but Errol Spence get hype creation. You hype this shit up off information that you created. Oh, look what he did. You can't say nothing. If you want to talk about Avanesian so much, you talk about Carlos Ocampo. Carlos Ocampo is a fighter that was in a situation that when Jerry Jones bought the house, they can't even brag on that shit, except it was in the backyard of where Spence was at. He didn't even show up. He was out of there, gone. And then how many fights did he have at 147 after that? And they talk about Avanesian. They mad that he went over there and got that money. They mad. And let me tell them something else. So you know, it'll make them a little bit happy because they always like talking about numbers. They always talk about, you know, how the initial information came out about 8 figures. No one cares. No one cares. All they care is about is pretty much saying that Avanesian wasn't nobody. But Carlos Ocampo wasn't anybody to talk about either. He wasn't anybody to praise at all. This dude haven't been knocking out anybody the way they're talking about. They're talking about how Bud gonna be able to withstand the onslaught of Spence. And I'm saying to myself, after yesterday, he better find a way to slip underneath these punches. He better find a way to keep his distance instead of talking about I step, he step. No, he's not gonna fight your fight. I know you want him to because that's comfortable to have someone right there in front of you so you can see him. Spence needs somebody right there in front of him to see them, y'all. So he can pretty much say, okay, I'm in my space, I'm in my comfort. I feel good about this distance right here. So he can go through his whole routine or whatever punch selection he used since they're up close and personal. Terrence Crawford is not gonna have your same mindset, bro. You're in trouble. Errol Spence, you're in trouble, man. You and your entire fan base is in trouble come next week. If you're going to catch punches and catch punches and catch punches, knowing damn well you took damage to the head on your right side, you think the video Blunt's put out, you think people didn't see that video when it was going down in real time? I'm talking about the actual media workout. Not on top of that, you don't think they actually forward or drop that link somewhere to somebody in Bud camp, even though they probably already seen the video and broke that shit down? You know what I'm saying? They probably looked at it real closely, scrutinized it, put it on the microscope. Yeah, man, he looked terrible. They probably looking at all that shit. Bo Mac and all them. So Cold, the whole team, they just looking at that shit. Damn, what's wrong with him, man? This dude is super stiff, super slow. But yet these people come right back on here and start lying and making it seem like just because they're giving Crawford a compliment, somebody's supposed to clap their hand. Y'all, hey, we don't care if you give Crawford a compliment. If you're gonna give Crawford a compliment, it's because he deserved it, because he had a damn good open workout. But when you talk about Errol Spence, man, his workout was mediocre. His workout was extremely mediocre. I'm just telling you, man, honestly, genuine as I could possibly be. It was just like so sleepy. It was just so one speed. You know what I'm saying? Where was the gears? And then all the telecast taking the camera shot off of him and him taking time to switch out gloves and get back over here. I don't care about how many times he drank water. I just know when I was seeing Crawford, he was on the damn workout a lot longer before he took a water break. And that man was sweating his ass off. Even with Spence doing what he was doing, he wasn't sweating profusely. He wasn't getting that water out of his system. He wasn't. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't sweating, but he wasn't sweat sweating and seemed like he was having a damn good burn session up there, like Terrence Crawford. I just didn't see it. But when Diddy, I can't talk enough about Diddy. I've heard a lot about Diddy in the streets. But the way Diddy came in there and he was leaning up against the ropes, and it made no sense to me. It was just I don't have words for it, man. It was like the empty cardboard box of freaking open workouts. You know what I'm saying? Empty shoe boxes. I'm talking about old paper. Like, you know, when you think of cardboard, you always think about something that used to be in it. You know, he used to have something back in the day when he was boxing. You know, Errol used to have something. You know what I'm saying? He used to have something, but the way he looked yesterday, I believe, is going to be extremely destructive come next week. It's going to be bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? The way he was moving like a robot. It's going to be bad, man. It's going to be bad. Feliciano, what's good? Salute to you, bro. I done took them body shots and had me rethinking my life. Man, the body shots is no joke. And these cats are sit up here and think that a TKO from you being incapacitated to stand back up from a body shot. They believe that's less quality of a knockout. Like, we're talking about, let's just say you take a body shot and you stand up, but you know, you gotta get back down. Depending on the boxer, they're gonna give full credit for a knockout, but you're gonna say, well, he was conscious. But the way they talk about Spence knocking people out, they keep acting like he's flatlining people. And then when they come to Crawford, and like we'll be up here talking about his KO ratio, they'll say, oh man, he ain't fought nobody. And then they say, okay, he ain't fought nobody, but they was undefeated because that don't mean shit. So it don't mean anything to have an undefeated record, but it means something for a champion to be in your presence and already taken a loss and lost another championship belt. And it means something bigger just because he come over there with a different belt from a different sanctioning body already with losses. And he's supposed to be the one. It don't matter what Sean Porter said about who, you know, he was in the ring with, who he thought was better. I don't care about none of that because Sean Porter showed up for the check for both fighters. Sean Porter showed up in shape for both fighters. That's what Sean Porter did. Sean and Kenny Porter showed up both times to fight, and they fought. They fought. Sean Porter fought Terrence Crawford differently than he fought Errol Spence. But Errol Spence's narrative is, hey, when have you ever seen Sean Porter get tired? Listen, he don't have to get tired if the punch placement is perfect. And that's what we've seen. He don't have to get tired. You know what I'm saying? We've seen people get knocked out early and they wasn't even fatigued. They just didn't see the shot coming. Hey, I was saying that the other day, Carlos. I was like, man, hey, once he get knocked out next week, 214 gonna get his wish. For real. He's gonna become the Nostradamus because he just seen it too early. That's all. Real talk. He's seen it too early. Real talk. He just seen it too early. He just wanted to happen too early. He's seen it too early. He should have waited. I just don't see that the happiness that was in, you know, Diddy James landing that punch on Errol. I just don't see how they're working as a team to me. It's just too much going on over. You got Ryan Garcia over there on Twitter again, trying to goddamn get his light. Oh man, it's just so much going on, bro. Like, let's come on, man. It's just so much going on. Let's not act like Derrick James has a stable of undefeated fighters. Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. Ryan Garcia has an L. AJ has an L. You know what I'm saying? Jermell Charlo has an L. I'm just saying, don't act like you got a stable undefeated fighters. Don't act like you haven't been on the receiving end of taking that L when Tony Harrison took Jermell Charlo's belt. You've been there. You know how to give it up, did he? But now I'm thinking real talk. I'm thinking there's been some riff. And with All Access, I don't know, somebody was leaning over and telling Spence, hey, why don't you just give Derek just a little bit of credit this time around since he received the award. You know, it seemed rehearsed to me. Like, yeah, give him credit since you received since he received the award for 2022. And so more people can feel that y'all are a unit, a cohesive unit. We need for you all to be that. We just gave him the award. If y'all got some bullshit going on, man, just get through this camp and then go in there and try to win, and that's it. But when I seen Diddy hit him with that, and your whole entire game plan is to catch shots from Crawford, you ever heard about the way they used to do those executions back in the day in front of a firing squad? He used to line up these people and then just unload. It's looking like it's going to be there with the punches. It seemed like it's going to be that way with the punches. It seemed like Crawford punches. He's going to line Errol up in front of the firing squad. And it's going to be up to, Spence to get away and avoid that. Because I know right now, over there in Vegas, I know he's up trying to drop all that weight. He probably, he probably trying his best. Probably didn't get no sleep hardly last night. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get down. He's probably in a world of hurt right now. You know what I'm saying? He's probably in his darkest moment. The clouds is sitting over him, goddammit, like a damn bunk bed. I swear to God. That motherfucking cloud just sitting over him. Man, his body is telling him, dude, one double cheeseburger, ketchup and mustard mayo is not going to hurt you at all. You can take a laxative if you can get it out of there. Okay, don't worry about it. Order some fries with that, man. You have to stay healthy. Eat. That beef protein is slow digesting, okay? It's going to take longer for your body to digest it. In the meanwhile, you're going to be doing cardio, and you can just burn off that burger. Both patties. You're going to burn off both patties, okay? Don't let them tell you that shit. Eat. If you want to go up to Whataburger, go get you something to eat, man. Just don't come back to the camp. To where we stand at the Airbnb. Find somewhere to eat in the car, something like that. And don't come back over here because I don't want you to bring none of them rappers, anything over there, because once the team smell it, they're going to know that you had a cheat meal. And right now, we got to drop these other 20 pounds before next week. We got to drop these 20 pounds, Errol. There's no way around it, brother. Okay, brother? Toby said, oh, okay. Christopher White, what's good with it, bro? AM Film Studios, salute to you. Thank you for breaking it down. Sad state of boxing when you have to explain KO and TKO. It has to be done, bro. Because they can't separate an adjective and put it with a noun, and how some is being descriptive. What they're doing is describing stuff too. You know what I'm saying? But they want to do it in an ex parte fashion. No, you got to have some type of neutral, neutrality about yourself. Be neutral, be fair. That's all. They hate the man so much he don't get credit for doing shit. But look, when it comes to the pound for pound, right? They shut that down. But none of these cats talk about the Boxing Writers Association of America where he received the award. They don't ever talk about the pound for pound list over there. You know what I'm saying? They just go straight to the Ring magazine. You know what I'm saying? They go straight to the Ring magazine. They don't never talk about all these other pound for pound lists. they don't say nothing about it because Crawford's in front of Errol Spence. That's why they don't talk about it. I appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate you. There are a lot of pros, but very few professionals. Errol's just a pro, while Bud is a professional. Yeah, talk that shit, man. I agree with that. He did have a professional workout. You know what I'm saying? He did have a professional workout. It was very conducive. You know what I'm saying, to people seeing how it actually supposed to happen. And look, not only that, you're placing eyes on boxing greats. You're having eyes. People take this for granted, but tack 10 years on to Terrence Crawford, and he's going to be 46 years old, man. Tack 10 years on to my age, and I'm going to be where I'm at in life. You actually thought I was going to tell you, man, come on now, stop it. I'm going to be where I'm at in life. It's going to be up there too. You know what I'm saying? So you put 10 years onto this. It's going to be changed. It's going to be changing, man. You're talking about Spence being in his 40s too. Both of these guys 10 years from now are going to be in their 40s. And hopefully, I know for a fact, Bud said he's going to be out the sport. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, both of these guys are not coming back to the sport when they're in their 40s because they need to. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between wanting and needing. I hope they don't have to come back because they need to. We see too many fighters that's going through that. We're about to fry these dudes, man. The fish fry is ready, man. Fish fry is ready. As a professional, how do you get hit with mitts when you're training, going through the motions? It's going to be bad. Hey, Don, we was talking about that. Like I said, right? Last year, I was talking with my guy, Shot News, right, about the open workout and how they pretty much focus on Errol Spence and barely focus on Ugas. Ugas' workout was pretty decent, but we seen how Diddy James, they was off. They wasn't coordinated. They wasn't in sync with one another last year with the mitts. And Sean News said it seems like they're not working together as on the normal schedule than what they should be. It may not be the case that they're working on a regularity, and it showed when they was in the ring doing these mitt drills. They kept on having to stop, and you know, it wasn't no, you know, fluidity there. It just looked bad, man. Like it was basic. But I think seriously, I think this workout yesterday was around the same one with Ugas. It was down there. It was pretty low. You know what I'm saying? It was in the weeds. It just wasn't anything to perk you up. You know, it didn't give you that springtime effect. Like this is real big. Something's about to go down next week. This is, you know, it didn't give me that springtime effect that I'm looking for. Like when Crawford came in there and gave you a full-blown workout. Full-blown workout, man. High punch volume. They're talking about Spence throwing high volume of punches. Did he do that yesterday? Or he was just, yeah. I mean, the repetitive turnaround. I'm talking about the repetitions. You know, the rhythm, the beat of the drum with Terrence was much more of a higher intensity, much more of a considered aerobic workout. His heartbeat, to me, looking at his workout, would be in a much higher rhythm to burn more calories than what I've seen with an anaerobic type workout in Spence. I'm not saying he wasn't moving around. It's just like he was throwing his punches, you know, just so slow, and like everything deals with power. Like, I don't know what type of power that these people believe he has, but it wasn't anything different than what we seen him do in the past. Like when he started working out, he was on the bag and people's like, ooh, he's on a heavy bag. I mean, come on. It's been some guys that make a heavy bag. Like it seemed, I mean, heavy bag makes some of these guys look like they champs. They're literally punching a static display. A static display. You're not punching a heavy bag on wheels. You're punching a static display. Champ Thrillis, what's good? Not getting any notifications for your live. man, it may be, YTC. I can't even do nothing about it. But yeah, I think thanks for being consistent. You know what I'm saying? Showing up, no doubt. That's YTC right there. When did Porter Spence beat Thurman for the WBC title? I don't know. None of them. I mean, you got to think about it. When Thurman was on his hiatus, they was trying to find out how they was going to take those belts. So you got to understand, back then with Thurman, the PBC has been on record. They have been consistent with having fighters on hiatuses and not get stripped. You know what I'm saying? Only until they got to a point where they want to try to build up this freaking undisputed run. You know what I'm saying? Time was running out, their champ. You know what I'm saying? Time was running out. So being that Thurman was a man at the time and he went on that hiatus, the first one that came for availability was the WBC. You know what I'm saying? So Porter lost when he tried to go in there, and when he fought Thurman the first time. Porter lost. You know what I'm saying? And Spence, I wish he would have fought Thurman. But Thurman never wanted to give him the shot. Thurman was the unified. He was making the calls. And I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame him. Spence pretty much did the same thing Thurman did to him. He was going around pitching. Oh, man, I want to fight Keith Thurman. I want to fight. And they was under the same promotional banner, and the fight didn't happen. But yeah, you get with Crawford. They act like Crawford could have made everything happen. He could have fought Spence then. He could have fought. The dude was in a whole nother promotion. But they said, oh, man, he didn't have to re-sign with Top Rank. He could have went over there. Why would he go over there after you sit up here and seen this play out? You seen Errol Spence begging. And Keith Thurman was on the PBC banner. And he still didn't get the unification. But they was up here talking about, why did Crawford re-sign with Top Rank? He could have went over there to PBC. It wasn't guaranteed anything. Just because you say where he should have went. It wasn't guaranteed he would have got that fight. Shout out to Cam Edwards, man. The apostles on deck. One love to the Archbishop WCS and everyone in the chat. The apostles in the building to layeth the hands and spread the good news of boxing. Have you heard the good news? Can I get an amen? You already know, man. Shout out to Omaha Apostles in the building, man. Appreciate y'all. Good live the other day. I was listening. Spence looked rock solid doing the workout. Bud in trouble. Not true. You're not believing that. You're not believing that, bro. You're not believing it. You're not believing it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. 10K on the horizon, goddammit. 10K on the horizon. You know what I'm saying there, Jameson? It's on the horizon, man. Shit. After Bud clocked him, he gonna say, Dubois? Man, y'all need to chill, man. That was a TikTok video. Derek, do I need to call you Diddy too? Are you in the video? You know what I'm saying? You know that was a TikTok now. Come on, how long you been on social media? You know that wasn't real. That was a TikTok. The TikTok. The mouse ran up the clock. You know what I'm saying? You got to do kitty rhymes with these freaking boxing fans these days. Kitty rhymes. Drop Spence in the hot grease, a.k.a. Fish Fry, Mr. Gumbo in the building. Appreciate you there, Gumbo, with the $5 super chat on deck. Salute, family. Richard Simmons would be ashamed of Spence workout. Man, you have never lied in your life, man. Wouldn't he be pissed? Wouldn't he be pissed there, Gumbo? You know, I can't look. One thing I can't do, I cannot. It's certain people I will attempt to imitate, but I cannot do Richard Simmons because it's just I can't do it. I can't do it, man. You know, I said, it was one point in time. I said, man, if I wanted to be an aerobics instructor, I could do that easy. but I just felt I would end up getting a lot of kids out of that. I wouldn't want, you know, clients of mine or those women that were showing up to aerobics. I wouldn't want them having their car seats in there, and I'd be the talk of the town because I got like 8, 9 kids in there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's generational wealth or something. No, it would have been too much. I say, when I saw Richard Simmons, I say, man, this man don't have a muscle in his body, bro. And he's up here around all these women. This man don't have a muscle in his body. Him and Jay-Z got the same structural skeletal frame, man. For real. I ain't lying, man. Richard Simmons had no muscles in his body, bro. But he was around all them girls. He was on TV, all that shit. But shout out to the man himself, Gumbo in the building. My guy, what's good with it? No, Thurman didn't know he was getting washed. Come on now. When Thurman was one time, Thurman was getting it in, bro. Come on, man. He fought Danny Garcia. Nope. Fought Sean Porter. Nope. Come on. What are you talking about, bro? Come on, man. You got to be fair with yourself. Hold yourself accountable first. If not, go out into the goddamn sunlight and beat your shadow up. You need some punishment one way or the other, man. Go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and just have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? A one-way conversation, goddamn it. You know, have a monologue. Because you're not being serious, bro. You're not. You're not being true that Thurman knew he was going to get washed. Thurman was the unified champion, man. And just because he wasn't giving Errol Spence the time of day, he said, do something. I mean, look, Thurman did tell Spence to get a belt. He got a belt. And Thurman had other shit going on. He had injuries, legitimate injuries. He had legitimate injuries, man. Karate Body said Bud fought PBC guys, and the two companies worked together outside of that. PBC always had plans to feed their top guys to Spence. Well, who's considered the top guys at that time? We can't say Ugas was the top guys. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter wasn't fed to Errol Spence until he got the WBC title. But before that, where was he? Oh, Kell Brooks swiped that belt away. I get it. Kell Brooks swiped that belt away. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they had to maneuver their way up to get Kell Brooks. The same Kell Brooks who beat Sean Porter, who then beat Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Who beat Danny Garcia for the vacant, and then Errol Spence beat Sean Porter, and then beat Danny Garcia. So it's all about recycling over there, for real. It's all about recycling the plastic. That's what they do over there, recycling the plastic. Everybody fighting everybody, but yet Bud, just because he ain't fighting none of them fighters that was recycled, when he finally did, they say he wasn't nothing. It was a shell of himself. Where do they get these terminologies from? These fighters were a shell of themselves. Come on, bro. What's going on, Karate Body? Salute to you, bro. What are we talking about? The truth or the lies? What are we talking about? Just so y'all remember, technical is an adjective. It describes a noun. Knockout is a noun. Technical describes the noun. It is still the same. Knockout, technical knockout is still a knockout. It's still a knockout. Real talk. This is a knockout. This is a knockout. This is a knockout. But the weird part about this right here is that when it comes to Julius Ndongo, being he was undefeated, I hear these biased voices. They would say, "Oh man, I ain't trying to say they wasn't nobody and all that." You can't say they was nobody because this man is taking on undefeated fighters, man, that have belts, right? So I ain't talking about Ricky Burns either. Okay, we all know they're gonna say, "Oh, Ricky Burns wasn't undefeated." Listen, I'm talking about. They will sit up here and brag that Errol Spence, when he fight fighters, they're never the same. But a lot of fighters that had championship straps when Bud fought them, I mean, some of them do have multiple losses after that, i.e., the primary name Gamboa. I heard somebody say the dumbest shit that ranks top 3 of the YTC on Knockouts panel. They said Gamboa was washed. This is when Crawford fought him now. Crawford fought him. When Crawford fought Gamboa, they say he was washed. See, if somebody was to come on my panel and say some dumb shit like that, I will have to correct them. I'll say, dude, don't put out that information like that. You can't look at what's been going on with Gamboa now and vice what Gamboa was when he fought Crawford in Omaha. You can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot take that away like that, bro. You can't look at Victor Postal as being nobody all because he's taking some losses. You know what I'm saying? How many losses did he have when Crawford beat him? Did he have a belt or not? You can't say he ain't shit now. And then Julius Ndongo. Man, not to say anything, he done faced all these knockouts, 9 of his 10 last fight, 8 of his 9 fights or whatever. But what you saying is Julius Ndongo was undefeated when he faced Crawford. See, when he facing, he had all these multiple. So at the time that he stepped in the ring to face Crawford, he had 1 loss. See, all I'm saying is, they talk about Julius Ndongo being. So what you're saying is, when he fought Crawford for undisputed 140, he was able to come out the winner. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. See, you done fucked up, right? No. You done fucked up, right? You weren't giving the man credit for being undefeated. But now you just adding that he got losses and he won shit and all that. You're fucked up. They won't give Julius Ndongo no credit, bro. They give Julius Ndongo no credit whatsoever, bro. None at all. But yet, Terrence doesn't get the braggadocious plaudits that they give Errol Spence, because in order for them to build up their narrative and make it official, they will say some shit like, when Errol Spence fight him, they ain't never the same. Who ain't never the same? Who? Danny Garcia? Who ain't never the same? Sean Porter? Who? Kell Brook? How can a fighter have multiple fights after fighting this fighter that y'all say a fighter was never the same? Who? Who was never the same, man? We need to know who was never the same. Who was never the same? How many times did Carlos Ocampo fight? Multiple times, dozens of times, more than a dozen. After that 1-round knockout. How many? And look, and then the person say, "Oh, Mikey Garcia really won shit after Spence beat him." So, do you want the TKO or the KO? Do you want that to kind of be forced in there like a splinter? Do you want that to be forced into Mikey Garcia's freaking fight with Spence? Do you want something to come about, like when you bring up his corner saying they want to stop the fight, do you feel like you're gonna force that tag of a TKO? Oh man, they was talking about stopping the fight. Yeah, that's a TKO right there. And then you want to talk about all his other fights that he had. You know what I'm saying? All his other fights that he had after this infamous fight with Spence, where he wasn't knocked down. I mean, he wasn't stopped at all. He wasn't stopped at all. The weird part about it, when I hear them say that numbers that Spence did at AT&T Stadium with Mikey, as if Mikey wasn't there. Mikey did the numbers, but they want to give Spence the benefit. Even Spence said himself about Crawford, I do the numbers. And then he said Crawford came back and said, I got the belts. I got the belts. You talking about some false numbers. I got the real shit. What it says on my box read in my history, 3 division and all multiple championships that I had. Don't nobody really know the numbers of you and Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. Don't nobody know those numbers. Ugas, nobody knows those numbers, man. What numbers is that? Depending on who you ask. Oh man, he did a 1.3 million with Mikey. It was a sold packed out house, man. You had people sitting on top of the stadium. Thurman also said he never got an offer from Spence to fight, but it was a lot of cap. These dudes are weird trying to discredit Buzz KO, TKO victories. And meanwhile, the ref stopped the Ugas fight. Therefore, it's a TKO, and Spence gets all the credit in the world. That's absolutely facts, bro. That's absolutely facts. The referee stopped the fight. And then with Lamont Peterson, you know, it goes without saying, man. Barry stopped the fight. You know, Barry stopped the fight. That's a TKO. I mean, what do you want to know? Seriously. But the good thing about it, man, we have another day on deck. It's the weekend. Not only it's the weekend, but the good thing about it, we have 7 days until the actual Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And that's the good part about it. We get to put all this, you know, to a conclusion. We can zip this up and get a closing arguments. And then we're gonna do live streams and give the sentences. We know we're gonna hand down the sentence, the convictions. You know what I'm saying? On how much time they need to serve for all here on here capping like they were about this fight. Yes, sir. We're gonna have a full-blown public sentencing. You know what I'm saying? We got to do it publicly, the way they used to do it. Yeah, we're gonna have them come up one by one. You know what I'm saying? Because you bring them up 2 at a time, they're gonna start trying to talk about we should not get any time because what we was actually saying was what we heard off a channel, and we didn't stand up to correct them because we didn't know what correction to make anyway. So we was just all dumb together. No, all y'all being sentenced together. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure all y'all handle at the same time. The fish fry will be on deck. And also, for those of you that's donating to the channel, I've already packed these brown sack lunches. For real. I've packed them up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they're going to be by the time next week come around, but I was speaking to moms, and mom said, Scott, it's best you put them sack lunches in the fridge. You know, bologna, it's good to have the bologna refrigerated. I say, Mama, not this time, Mama. Well, you got the government cheese on there. The government cheese can keep it a little bit, you know, from molding too bad, because the mold ain't gonna be able to break through that government cheese. But you know how we was coming up, you usually put that in the fridge. I say, no, not this time, Mama. I want to keep it out room temperature, Mama. That's what I want to do. I want to keep it out room temperature because I'm trying to send a message, Mama. You understand? I'm trying to send a message. Oh, okay. You trying to teach somebody a lesson? Yeah. I say, Mama, trying to teach them a lesson. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this volunteer, mama. I appreciate you helping me get these bologna sandwich made, but I'm trying to teach them a lesson. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep these sack lunches out at room temperature so that bologna can start going through those first 3 stages of molded. That's what they like it, mama. For real. Things don't change since you came up, mama. For real. They like that molded damn bologna. You know what I'm saying? They like that shit, mama. You know what I'm saying? Well, I knew something was up when you brought the white bread in here. We don't eat white bread in the South. We eat the wheat bread. You know, it's more healthy. You know. I said, yeah, mama. But like I said, I'm dealing with a different group of mom. Trying to teach them a lesson, mom. I'm gonna keep these sack lunches right out in room temperature. It's hot as hell down here in Georgia. I might even take them down to the car and goddamn throw them in the trunk and shit, and let the heat kind of melt the cheese on them. You know what I'm saying? God damn, you put that heat on that cheese with that white bread, and man, it's really gonna be a nice texture going on there with the green, the black, the gray, the blue. And that mold gonna be coming in there real nice, but they ain't gonna matter, bro. It ain't gonna matter because them L sexuals, they just gonna eat it all to be damned. They're gonna eat that shit all to be damned. They're gonna be tearing that bologna sandwich up. You got some, you put some chocolate chips in it, white. Yeah, that's chocolate chips right there. How it tastes? Shit, how that chocolate chip tastes? These some different type chocolate chips. I ain't never tasted that shit before. Peace WCS countdown to the showdown. Yes, sir, man. We almost on deck. I'm gonna tell you point blank, man. Monday is gonna be extremely stressful, man. Real talk for some of these people. Monday, oh my God, that is the week of, and it's gonna be extremely stressful, man. Seriously, it's going to be extremely active. It's going to be extreme in front of everything. Extreme in front of everything, bro. It's going to be an active week. It's going to be tiresome. Oh, man. It's going to be long-winded. It's going to be more and more people coming on here, stabbing people in the back. You know, you're gonna have defectors that's trying to come across. And to the soldiers out there, be very cautious. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be defectors coming up trying to locate where y'all at to see if you can get them on board and feed them. No. Don't do it. Tell them to go back from whence they came now. It's too late to defect. It's going to be people that's changing their mind. They're going to be like, oh, man, I had second thoughts. I really want to be Team Crawford now. I'm tired of that bullshit. No, we don't need it. We don't need no new memberships. Go, take your ass back over there, you know, for whence you came. Let's go. Go ahead. Leave. We don't have no room, man. Can I just get a sack lunch? Okay, I'll give you a sack lunch. All right, go ahead, man. Go on back over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy that ass whooping first, and then come back over here after. you know, we might get some more traction with a 154 fight, you know, for the title. So come back over here, man. We might be able to have some openings, dog. Please, someone call Crawford and tell him not to go to the fight because Spence is a killer. Someone save him. That's what they're trying to pretend. They're trying to pretend like it's all downhill, man. But after, you know, we was witnessing, you know, Blunts had to goddamn slow the shit down for, I don't know why the fuck he did that. That's only more torture. That's allowing somebody to watch it in detail without even really messing with the speed that is played, because you can slow videos down on YouTube too. You know what I'm saying? But just to see the details of Diddy James slapping him upside the damn right side of his head. God, what is this? What is this about? You slapped the man like, oh my God, bro. That's just fucked up, man. You slapped that man like that. It's just all bad. MD, what's good with? I see you in the building. But it's gonna be lit this weekend, man. Y'all continue to tune in. It's Friday. I think I'm about to go get me some fish, man. Real talk. I'm about to go get me a fish dinner with some shrimp. And I'm gonna get 2 types of fish this time. Yeah, I know exactly where to go to. But I'll be back on here later, man. I gotta go get some, you know, to eat for lunch. and see can I actually I'm here to change the world, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to go spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? I got to go make some other bets and spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? We got to let people know this ass whooping is going down next week. We got to spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? We got to let them know history is about to be made and the YTC landscape will be changed forever. Man, y'all hold this shit down. Appreciate y'all donating to the channel. I'm out, man.